Dave, here's a quick trivia question. Do you know where you fell on the conversation when we had a guest who asked, who didn't believe that insects were animals? Do you remember which side of the conversation you were on?
Yes, I do. And
which side were you on, Dave?
I was on the side that said insects are not animals.
But we
belief
found
that
out
I still widely share that you.
No, insects are definitely animals, Dave.
I know you. I know we looked it up and we got the scientific information, and I was wrong.
I really did not know this was going to restart an argument about whether or not because they're animals. That's it, Dave. They're animals.
Okay, fine.
Okay, everybody check us out at Six Unseemly and unseemlyquestions.com. Let's get this show started.
Six Unseemly Questions!
Welcome to Six Unseemly Questions. I'm your host, Victor Varnado. This is my sidekick, Dave Rosinsky. And now we have a great contestant on the show today. It's Paul Sullivan. Come on up, Paul Sullivan.
Hey!
Nice.
Hey!
Welcome to the show.
It's great to have you here. We also have some great studio audience. Our studio audience today is Sean Patton and Nico White. You two can turn your cameras on. That was a great appearance face, Sean. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Nico, you can turn your camera on so that we can see you. And then let's get started with the show. There you go, Nico. Awesome. Welcome to the show.
Nico just got here from next year. It looks like he just came back in time.
Let me tell you something, dog. It's beautiful here, man. Vaccine rollout is great and all that.
Who won the Super Bowl? I got to put some money down. Who won the Super Bowl?
Well, man, I missed that accidentally because I was getting the vaccine that day. But that's it.
All right, Paul, thank you for being on the show. I'm going to tell you how the show works, and then we're going to get started. I'm going to ask you 6 unseemly questions. At the end of each question, I'll ring a bell if I like your answer like this. However, if I do not like your answer, I will not ring a bell, and I'll tell you why. Regardless of how many bells you get, at the end of the show, I'll decide whether or not your appearance on the show is worth giving you $5 whole dollars. All right, Paul, are you ready to get down?
I've studied. I'm ready to go.
Okay, question number 1. Are you good at sports?
Sadly, no.
You're like one of the biggest sports fans I know.
Well, and specifically baseball. I mean,
Yes.
if I could ask
You're deep into baseball.
Yes, and my podcast is about baseball. And if I had a genie and said, "What would you want?" I would just be able to pitch a ball. I would be a great pitcher. I've always wanted to be a great pitcher. I think pitchers are the coolest position in any sport because they can completely control the game. And I wanted to be a pitcher more than anything. And I was my little league that I played in. I was pitching against Adam Alexander, and I threw one right down the heart of the plate, and I don't think the ball landed. I just think it actually just became part of the atmosphere. He hit it so far out of the park, and thinking, God, if I can't get Adam Alexander out, how the heck am I going to get to the major leagues? But like I played high school baseball, but I rode the bench, and I was a terrible hitter. I was a horrible the only thing keeping me from being a great baseball player was ability. Because I had the drive, I had the work ethic, I took extra batting practice, I took extra pitching practice, and no matter what, I could not rise above the level of awful. And so awful was my goal at the beginning of each year, and I couldn't, and I always fell short. And I now write about baseball, I podcast about baseball, and I've been on HBO talking about, but I was okay at football to a degree. Like I could play. I was big enough that if I hit someone, it caused some issues. And I was actually quick enough that I could play certain positions on the special teams and not be bad at it. But it screwed up my knee.
Okay.
To this day, my knee is screwed up. So
I'm going to say
the answer is no. The answer is no.
Yeah, I'm going to say for this question, no bell. I'll tell you why. Because a simple no would have done at the top. You could have just been like no. I'm just kidding.
Wait,
You're
Actually,
telling
the
us
show
a
is about-
monosyllabic here.
No,
You're
the
mad
show
at
is
him
about
for answering the
conversation.
question?
The show
I
is
don't
about
get it.
conversation. It is. And I do want you to talk.
Oh,
That is
okay, yeah.
100% true. However, I cannot resist a cheap shot. So no bell.
I mean, limit your answers to one-word answers, please.
Don't
Yeah.
do what Dave says ever.
Well, do you know what?
That's what you said.
Do you know what? That actually is appropriate because as hard as I tried to be a ball player, I couldn't do the job, and as hard as I tried to answer that question, I still swung and missed. So there you go.
Still riding the bench, bro.
That's right.
I'm gonna try and be the audience member who limits their reactions to one word reactions. So to that, I'm gonna go, whoa.
No,
Nice.
I want everybody to have fun and be part of the show. But I will, just pull the rug out if I have the chance.
I'm
My
done.
creaky little
I'm in.
hands.
I'm in.
All right, it is time for question number 2. But before we do that, would you tell people out there what you do?
Well, amongst other things, I do a lot of podcasting, and I'm the host of the Locked On MLB podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about baseball. I talk about it 365 days out of the year. It's my sport. I've been a TV producer and a stand-up comedian and a filmmaker, but I am also been working as well as a podcaster. I've been working as a special education teacher in Compton, Los Angeles, where I'm working with kids who are with mild, moderate to severe conditions. And I do that for 2 reasons. First of all, it's what I love doing, working with these kids, and also it makes me better than you.
Yeah, it does. I think it makes you a lot better than me, like about 6-7 times. Like if I was
Damn, that's my
evaluate it.
one word. That's it.
Yep. And I do it in Compton. I don't do it in Beverly Hills. I said I go there, and that's what I do.
All right. That's all great information. It is time for question number 2. All right. Here comes question number 2. When was the last time you had sex?
Whoa.
Not in 2021.
Whoa! Wow!
What about
For me,
2020?
it was last night. We're newlyweds. We're newlyweds.
Yep. Yeah.
Hot.
Thanks.
Trump was president. How about that? That's my answer. Trump was president.
Wow. Well,
You're dating yourself. Could
get
be
to it soon.
16, right? 16.
I'm going to leave a very wide net for that.
Get to it. Get to the sex soon. I'm going to ring this bell. It is not actually for the question. It is just a wish for your penis.
There you go.
Got to get off the bench, bro. Eventually.
Boy, I'm seeing a pattern with these questions in me.
What? No, it's just things that I'm curious about. We write questions because things that I'm curious about. All right. It is time for question number 3. Question number 3. Which of your twins is your favorite?
Whichever one is pissing me off that day.
It's kind of like a daily scale.
Yeah, there's no. It's sort of we have a drum roll and we have a ticker tape and we see which one. Yeah, I have twin boys and I love them both dearly, and if one gets on my nerves on one day or one doesn't, then it's fluid. It's fluid. That's the beauty of twins. You can't.
Are they into baseball?
Not in the slightest. Not
Really?
In the couldn't possibly care less. But
Did you overdo it as the dad? Where you're like, you're
No,
gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
I took them to Little League and everything, but they just they didn't care. But I will say that they like all the movies that I grew up. Like they'll watch Star Wars. They'll watch Back to the Future. They'll watch Jurassic Park. They watch Columbo with me. They love watching old episodes of Columbo, and they love it. And so. It's kind of like, all right, they didn't become big baseball fans, but they've liked virtually everything else that I grew up watching. And by the way, that becomes a great thing when you're a dad and they're twins and like, when they're younger and they want to watch Thomas the Tank Engine or some stuff like that. And then when they get older and they'll say, can we watch the Tim Burton Batman? Yes. In fact, I'm going to watch it with you. And like we sat down, awesome. we watched all the Rocky films in like a week. And when Mickey died spoiler alert, when Mickey died in Rocky 3, and I looked over and my son Maddie has tears the size of grapefruits flowing down his face when Mickey died, I realized either I'm the best or the worst father of all time. But I'm like, my kid gets it.
Did you show them Rocky IV with the robot?
Oh yeah, and Rocky IV is insane because they shot 20 minutes of new footage, and the rest of it is all montage. And I'll actually tell you this, that we're watching Rocky IV. Rocky IV is actually a shorter film than this podcast. And
it's weird to think that in Rocky III a character dies and your son like cries because they're so into it, and in Rocky IV there's a wacky talking robot.
Yeah, and although he left the room when he knew Apollo was going to die, because he's like, nope, I've been here before. He could tell Apollo was about to die, so he I'm not going to watch Apollo die. But we're watching that, and there's like 5 montages in that film that of clips from the previous film. As I said, they only shot 20 original minutes for Rocky IV. And it's that scene when he and Adrian had a fight, and Rocky is just sort of driving at night around Philadelphia, and they're showing basically random clips from the first 3 films.
Is that 20 original minutes?
They always show this one. They're like, ding, ding, when they're in the ring at the end of the movie.
Right. But
is it 20? Is that a real number? Or is that a number that you're making up?
but I'm making that up. But the film's only 90 minutes long, so I would be fascinated to see how much of it is original. But while that scene is going on, and it's another montage, my son Aiden, who is he's a 15-year-old boy, but actually an 85-year-old grumpy man, and he's sitting there with his arms folded, and he just sort of, great, more clips. It's like
he's just like talking the vernacular of entertainment. It's a bottle episode.
Well, I tell you, one of the great achievements as a dad. No, they didn't get into baseball, but they got into watching like 60s Godzilla films with me when they were like awesome. in the rubber suits walking around the toy train sets that I used to watch. Me and my brother Ted used to watch those. Like Destroy All Monsters is still one of my favorite movies. And I showed that movie to my kids and they loved it.
Awesome.
That film is great. I've yet to show him Tron, Victor. I've yet to show him. I'm going to get to Tron pretty soon.
Victor has the Tron pajamas.
I have a poster of Tron on my wall, the original Tron. Exactly. And then my wife
and I bonded over our love of Tron back
that movie so much
in the 90s. In the 90s, you and I, when we first met, we're like we both loved that movie so much.
Absolutely. Judah Friedlander is also a big fan of Tron. He loves the movie like more than anything.
What about like Field of Dreams or Bull Durham or League of Their Own?
I did a whole.
They're not into any of that.
No, I did a whole podcast on. Well, I did one of those movie by minute podcasts where you break down a movie a minute at a time. I did one of those for Bull Durham, and I got some really, really great guests on that. They're not into sports. They're not into sports. That's all. And believe me,
I totally understand.
They'll sit and watch a game with me because they see that I'm enjoying it, but they don't care. Like the Dodgers won the World Series, they didn't care.
I will say on that question, it was an excellent story, but no bell. And I'll tell you why. It's because that 20-minute footage thing just stuck with me, and I couldn't let it go until I asked. And I don't know why.
I'm losing big time here. What happened?
It just had me. It had my brain like in a vice grips. I couldn't shake it. So I had to ask about it.
I can't win, Sean. I can't win.
And then when I found out it wasn't real, I was so embarrassed.
All right. Do you know what? I will get Rocky IV and I will time the original footage. Okay, that's what I'll do.
I believe.
I just looked it up. It is exactly 90 minutes, and it says here the montage is 21 minutes long.
No, he said 20 minutes of original footage. The other way around.
Okay, yeah. So it turned out to be the other way around. I said that as a joke. It's exaggerated, but
but you were close to the truth. Was just the flip flop, the answer. So still no bell.
Or is Drago, right?
Good try overturning the bell, Sean. Now it is.
Just throw the damn towel.
It is time for question number 4. Question number 4: why did you stop coaching Little League?
Because my kids couldn't possibly care less.
Got it. All right.
There was a moment. I remember my son Matty got what's called a walk-off hit, which is the game. He gets a hit, the winning run comes in, and Aiden came up to me, and he was coming up, and I was giving him his tips. Say, look it. The pitcher's really wild. don't swing at the first pitch because it's going to be, make him throw you a strike. Don't, it's giving him all those, if he's going to throw it in the dirt, walk. A walk is as good a hit at this point because it's a 1-run game. And he looked at me and he said, when we get home, I got to work on my social studies project. I'm like, you're not even thinking, about the game. It's like, it's not even, and that's when I said, you know what, we'll finish this year and that's it.
I will give you a bell on that question, and I'll tell you why. It is because it followed perfect logic from what you just told me. So it was great.
Yeah.
It is time for question number 5. Question number 5. Do you consider yourself a hairy man?
Oh God, yes. Good God. I am like, I drop to my knuckles when I walk. I mean,
I'll give you a bell.
Yeah.
So do I.
Yeah, this is, by the way, this is not I'm bare chested right now. This is this is how thick my hair is on my body here.
Just your hair woven into a sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm a Wookiee. I mean, I'm Harry and the Hendersons. There's no getting around it. I'm a furry man.
It is time for question number 6, Paul. Your last question of the show. Here it is.
Right.
Question number 6. How would you fight off a wolf?
Ooh. Now, I'm sorry. I have to because this may affect my answer.
It definitely will affect your answer.
Where am I? Am I outside?
Okay, if I get to set it up where you are, I'll tell you where you are.
I need data to answer this question.
You're on a cliff. Okay, you're on a cliff.
Okay.
And the wolf is between you and the woods, any way out. And
so I can't run the other way. Yeah, I can't run the other.
You can't run the other way. It's off a cliff. The cliff is also, it has increased gravity off the cliff, so you'll definitely fall and die. Okay? Then all you have on the ground in front of you is an umbrella.
Oh, well then here you go. I would take the umbrella, I would dismantle it and create claws like Liam Neeson in The Gray.
You're dead.
Can I do it?
Like when you're dismantling, you're already dead. Are you dismantling the umbrella?
I want to be like Liam Neeson in The Gray and just sort of go right at him. Oregon, fine. Then I'll be like Sean Connery in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and just be opening and closing the umbrella super fast and confuse the living snot out of the wolf.
You know what?
Let me ask you something. It didn't occur to you to fly off the cliff like Mary Poppins with the umbrella? I feel like that was the right answer.
I'm Dave, not only hairy, but I'm also heavy. Okay.
Dave, he can't fly off the cliff. As I said earlier, there's increased gravity.
You got to get all the data here.
Automatically will fall and die no matter what.
So if I can't pull off the Gray, then I'm definitely going to try to pull Sean Connery with the umbrella opening and closing really quickly, try to confuse the wolf, and then chuck it, and then use that speed that I had my junior year in high school as a pulling guard and book for the woods.
Paul, these are all great answers, but I'm basing it on your first reactionary answer, which was to dismantle the umbrella while a wolf was attacking you, which is a terrible answer. No bell.
I see the logic in the dismantling, but Paul and I also have layers of flesh that wolves would have to. We could bide our time.
Oh, you think the wolf could just gnaw at you for a while?
We could bide our time. Give him
the umbrella.
Just let him go at the thigh for a minute while I make claws, and then bam, and then I have a cool scar to show off later on.
You know what?
And the pool
I know how you can tell the answer was bad because the need to justify it so much. Like, that's how you know it was a bad answer.
Well, was it a pointy umbrella? Could you just like stab it with it, or was it?
Oh, now look what you did. Now Dave is curious.
I want to know how to fight a wolf. I mean, what am I going to do?
All right, so we have asked you all 6 questions, Paul. It is time to decide whether or not you get $5. But before we do that, can you tell people out there where they can find you?
The best thing to do is to either subscribe to my podcast, which is called Locked On MLB.
Please do.
Or you can simply follow me on Twitter at Sully Baseball, where I do talk a lot about baseball, but I also post a lot of my comedy things and also any other things that come across my brain. But Locked On MLB is we're going to be going into our 3rd season once the season begins, and I've been doing a baseball podcast since 2012. But I've been making money at it for the last few years. So there you go.
So it may surprise you to know that I have listened to 2 episodes of your podcast.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
and I
Shocking.
didn't understand any of it, but I was just listening to you because you're my friend.
Thank you.
Am I allowed to ask you who your team is?
Well, I'm a native New Englander, so I've grown up a big Red Sox fan. I've been on HBO talking about the Red Sox in a couple of their HBO sports. But in honest, over the last few years, I've just become more of a baseball fan. Like, seeing the Red Sox winning 4 World Series, I've really become a lot more interested in just the game and following the storylines as a whole. And I haven't lived in New England for years and years, so I just love the whole game and love the whole sport, and I'm finding myself rooting for certain teams like San Diego to win because I think it would be great.
I let you guys get that.
Let's go Mets.
I let you guys get that out.
I would love to see the Mets win.
I'm so sorry. I have to interrupt because I let you get that out as a courtesy. I found that conversation excruciating. So
of course you did. Of course
I just want to end that part of all the baseball talk. I just want to.
I lost $5. I feel I just lost.
Not yet. Not yet.
We'll
see what happens.
It is time to decide whether or not you do get $5. We always canvass the room, so let's do that right now. What do you think, Dave? Should Paul get $5?
I mean, I really, really needed to know how to fight this wolf off because I feel like I might be in that situation one day with an umbrella, and I really didn't learn anything about it. So,
okay.
And I feel like in the future when the wolf attacks me, I'm going to be really pissed off. So I'm going to say no.
Okay, he's going to say no. All right, he said no. It's very, very rare. All right, Sean, what do you think? Should Paul get $5? I'd like to remind you, Paul said you shouldn't get $5.
But you know what? That being a Scorpio, that means I'm somewhat of a masochist. So I appreciated the slap of being told no by a peer. But here's why I think yes. I would like to give Paul the $5 under the agreement that he donates $4.06 of it to his Little League team, because 406, that's Ted Williams's highest batting average.
Yep.
And nice. Ted Williams, arguably the greatest Red Sox of all time. That's a terrible Boston accent.
I will tell you this, Paul, the conditions that he put on it actually don't fly, because I will give you the $5 and you can do whatever you want with it. You can burn it in front of his face if you want. I'm just telling you, you don't have to adhere to his conditions.
I'll donate the 406, yeah.
All right.
In honor of Ted Williams, yeah.
Nico, what do you think? Should Paul get $5?
Yes, 100%. I think the man should be paid. If for nothing else, he gave you advice on what to do when you're getting attacked by a wolf. Whether or not you follow that advice, it's up to you. But if you can tell people anything that wrong tell them that to their faces, oh yeah, my man, you deserve to get paid or to leave this country, one or the other.
All right. Well,
I thank you, sir. I thank you very much, sir.
It sounded like accomplice assault,
I'll take it. These days, I'll take it.
All right. Rachel, what do you think? Should Paul get $5?
You know what? Here's the thing is I was all ready to say yes because I am also terrible at sports and it was solidarity. But then you know what? He started talking about how he's a Red Sox fan and I'm a Yankees fan. And that just doesn't do it for me. So, but I'm going to say yes anyway, because there is still hope for him to appreciate what the Yankees are capable of when given enough money.
I appreciate it, and I have really appreciated that we are entering the second decade of the Yankees not making the World Series. So I think.
Wow!
Dang!
Too late. You can't change your answer, Rachel. Sorry. Thanks, Rachel, for your input. All right, Paul. What do you think? Should you get $5?
You know what? I think that I feel like I whiffed on almost every question, and I thought I was doing badly up until the wolf question.
Okay.
And I think I entered your hall of shame. And so I feel like while I think the kids really could use that $4.06 that Sean would want to contribute there, I'm gonna basically be at the mercy of the crowd. But if I feel like I didn't quite make it, I think I got to go back to the batting cage and work on my swing.
Well, if you don't believe it, I'm not giving you $5. There, that's gotta, definitely not giving you $5. But I do thank you very much for being part of the show. Thank you so much. It's a great episode. We just got to wrap up here. Dave, what did you learn from this week's show?
If I could have changed my answer to yes, I would, because the thing is with Yankees and Red Sox fans, Mets fans don't care.
Hey, Dave, what about
it,
that question I just asked you?
I'm answering it.
Okay.
I was really pissed off about the Wolf situation, but I got over it, so...
Right. Remember, we're at Six Unseemly on all social media at unseemlyquestions.com and on the Starburns Audio Network.
Woo!
Starburns Audio, a podcast network.